you have an architectural practice and you're like thinking, okay, I would want to take different projects, larger projects, commercial projects.
With UK having slowed down as it has now, we can't rely on UK to be the main income.
Do you find yourself often taking on projects that other architects cannot?
At the time when it's grueling and difficult, you question yourself whether you've done the right thing. In UK, majority of our project building over sewers, building in restricted sites, and building with budgets.
So I have a review. Architect that solved plot of land that was considered as unbuildable by other architects. And you are having many international projects and you're working in 18 countries. How do you get into 18 countries? Being here in London, how do you expand in all of those countries? Like, how do you go to that place?
We're not experts. We're not experts in structures. We're not experts in how the pipes are going or how the electrics is working. We are the ones taking the information.
Okay, what would you say to a new upcoming architect, how to get from the first step of being fearful, insecure, trying to chase every client, what they would need to do to get to the position of like, I know what I'm doing, I have the confidence, I can deliver, and I'll be fine even if the client doesn't choose to work with me. Do you compete on price? Do you negotiate on price? Thank you, Ruta, for coming over. And this is the first podcast, and we were just exchanging some emails. Then I said, how is the January going? And you replied,
slow.
As usual. Yes. Yeah. And I said, let's jump on a podcast, let's have a chat, and let's see what value we can add to each other and also to people who are viewing this video. Why not?
Fantastic.
And so, quick introduction about Ruta. I have some information gathered. You correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the publicly available information.
Publicly available.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I have done my homework. So Vita Architect's website was once featured in Apple MacBook presentation launch in Keynote, demonstrating the screen display quality. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that.
That was another email asking, do you mind if we use you? It's like, sure.
Wow, I'm surprised about your emails and your LinkedIn messages. Okay. So Ruta Benetite, if I pronounce it correctly, is a co-director, and her story at Vita Architects began with a refused 3 weeks holiday in Australia. Instead of accepting refusal, Ruta resigned and joined as freelance work with Ben Lee, who she worked with together in Bricas Gonzalez Architects.
A studio.
And that was the pivotal decision that shaped her career and business future. And so Ben Lee incorporated Vita Architects in February 2016. And Ruta was appointed as a director in 2021. And there is publications in some websites as Echo Hardwood, International Lithuanian Magazine, Londoniete, Women in Construction, House Up, and Della EN. When I started to do the research, I was like, this is the right person for the podcast. I see you have done a lot of work, but that's not it. We have worked on multiple projects ourselves together. Mm-hmm. So it's not only I'm reading what I have done the research, but I know how many projects you actually do. So that's what's publicly available, but then I can vouch for your work and how much work you do.
We actually do architecture.
You actually do actual work, yeah. Okay, and so by the age of 18, you already knew what you wanted to do and be an architect. Born and raised in Lithuania to parents who were both medical professionals. You moved from Lithuania to UK at 17. You went through an intense education path, 12 years studying in England at Plymouth, London South Bank, and Westminster University. You said back then life was all about architecture and other activities, just studying and working.
At the time, yes.
Did I got it correct? At least you know who we're speaking today.
Educated in architecture.
Educated
Very
architect
good.
with years of experience. And so, plus on top of that, I'm going to have a review that I wanted to share as well. But the first question is, how did you figure out what you want at so early age?
My parents were building a house when I was about 11, 12. And I saw the initial process where you put things together. And I thought, well, that seems all right. I don't want to do medicine because my parents were doctors. So I didn't really have much imagination at the time. And I decided
Good.
architecture is my path. And I sort of stuck with it and carried
Yeah.
on.
Because it's a challenge. Many people don't know what to do, what should I study, but at the age of 11, already knowing, that's powerful.
And then I was too stubborn to change my mind or opinion. So I just carried on.
You need that. You need that. Otherwise, you never grow. You
Well,
need
you
have some direction.
build experience, yes, slowly.
Yeah. So I have some quick fire questions. These are going to be 4 quick questions and quick answers.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So first, is all the 12 years of study really necessary and worth all the money invested?
12 years, it took me longer. I worked with bigger projects. Architecture, you can finish in 7 years if you're very, very driven and very dedicated. So it's whether it's worth it. At the time when it's grueling and difficult, you question yourself whether you've done the right thing. But I guess as a Lithuanian, I whatever you start, you finish. I did love architecture throughout, and doesn't matter how difficult it was. Now, what I'm doing, the people I meet, the projects that I'm working on, I'm not doing the same thing all the time. It's always changing, doing very different things. And then my experience changed. I love it. I enjoy it. I can't see myself doing anything else. Definitely worth it. I didn't even think about the financial side.
Do you still have a student debt left from studies?
I was very lucky to have supporting parents.
Good.
I never had any student debt.
Does too much education kills creativity and put you in some sort of a frame or limit box?
Architecture is very strange thing to study. It's very different. What you study, the design element that you study, is very different from what is actually the practicalities in real world. What you're taught at universities, you're not taught to be architect in practice. You're taught to be thinking like an architect. But when you work in practice, obviously there's way more restrictions and different perspectives. So it's two very different. I still see it as two very different things.
You were the top mathematical student in your college. How does that help in architecture now when all the AI and different softwares and plugins are coming in?
Jesus, that was years ago. Mathematical thinking, it's not just adding numbers. It's mathematical thinking. It's rationale and how to simplify processes. AI helps. We use AI. We use all different tools and softwares, but what architecture is, it's multifaceted. The design, and I wish that AI could do more to solve the design issues, let's say. But then you've got the bureaucracy dealing with people, dealing with clients, which design probably takes up. My time would be about 5%, and the rest is overcoming all the other issues. So it's any tool, including AI, I see it as supporting us. And if we integrate it in a way that will allow us to produce better work, it's not a threat. It's part of the process to become a better architect, a better designer.
Yeah, so there is still value in that critical thinking and putting that logic together.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
tools is available,
tool.
so we have to use less of our thinking. We can always ask ChatGPT.
Exactly.
But I think these are questions that's at the moment very, very important.
Absolutely.
So I have a review that I wanted to share. So, and this review, I have given a headline. So, architect that solves the impossible project. Okay. And so, and this review is from a client who had a plot of land that was considered as unbuildable by other architects due to massive main artery of wastewater systems that collected sewage from smaller collectors and branch sewers, so running beneath the property. Vita Architects was the only firm willing to take it on, conducted the necessary surveys to unlock the site value and get the homes built. Do you find yourself often taking on projects that other architects cannot or don't want to deal with?
Yes and yes and no. Well, we aren't. I think we're experienced architects, and we take on projects that are challenging. We're not worried about the difficulty of the possibility
So
of
you
what
like
we
the
can.
challenge.
I like the challenge. We obviously we inform the client of the time it might take, or the restrictions, or how we will have to shape things. But I would say in UK, majority of our projects are not straightforward. We take on Greenbelt AONB, uh, building over sewers, building in restricted sites, and building with budgets or different constraints and sort of backland developments. We are not afraid of complicated projects. We sort of take on the challenge and then do it. So would other architects not do it? I don't know. Maybe not. Depends on the experience. And
I'm just reading a review and what the client has left and said that others weren't willing to take, and then you're
nice
taking
to
it on.
hear. I remember the project. It was a long time ago. We were young and brave. I would probably still do it, and we learned a lot as well on the project. It's a lovely client and it's a lovely project. So it's very, very pleased that it's worked out.
Was reaching out to Vita architects. Well, if other people reject you or say it's too difficult, well, worth asking. Vita architects may be just the right people for you to help you out. Nothing is guaranteed, but
we do what we can. And
there is a track record.
There's a track record. Exactly.
You started mainly with residential projects, and you're growing and you're branching out in commercial spaces, hotels, golf clubs, and restaurants. And you are having many international projects, and you're working in 18 countries. So it's like, how do you get into 18 countries? Being here in London, how do you expand in all of those countries? Like, how does that come together? Someone who is watching and you have an architectural practice and you're like thinking, okay, I would want to take different projects, larger projects, commercial projects. Like, what is that suggestion? Like, how do you go to that place?
Power of internet to start with. So we have different projects that are in scale. So the smaller, very exciting projects are dental practices that we do, and we have quite a lot of presence in dental practice in general. And those projects, they come from all over the world to us. It's a lot of it is a fit out. Yes, it's a sort of specialist, experienced fit out, but we do prepare the projects in UK. We work with practices, whether it's architectural practices or contractors in different relevant countries. So we started learning how to work together. But that came from internet. That came from actually my business partner becoming an influencer and having, I don't want to lie, but I think it's over 70,000 followers or something like that. Good. He will come and say, Ruta, it's probably 85 or something, but I think it's about that. This is how much I'm spending on Instagram. I myself, I'm Lithuanian. And we do have projects in Lithuania that are bigger. So we're working on a hospitality project. So it's a hotel, 5-star landmark building in Vilnius, which we are very, very proud of. So if anyone comes to Lithuania and they say this is a hotel, everyone will know the hotel. That's how proud we are of what we are doing. And that was introductions, that was referrals. So my job in the practice, I'm the person going out, meeting people, building relationships, and bringing projects through meeting somebody and then developing further and showing that we know what we're talking about, we know how to deliver it, and we're able to deliver a good product.
So now when talking about broad perspective in different countries and going in different locations, like how important is the Measure House survey and like a strong foundation for then doing the design?
Absolutely. I mean, because we're not there, without having the correct information, we're not able to give a correct proposal. And that long term is costing money, costing time, might cause issues with planning. So absolutely crucial. It's whether it's here, whether it's in anywhere else, the foundation is the correct information. If we don't have the correct information, we pretty much lost. So we go a step further, and we actually starting to ask for the points cloud. Even if we get the model, we want the points cloud, because we'll start sort of going into even further detail if things sort of go wrong. So thank you.
You can cross-check yourself.
Cross-checking
You don't have
ourselves.
to guess.
Yes.
You can always check it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We some things you can guess, a lot of things in construction we don't want to guess.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to have.
Once you have point cloud, the guesswork is eliminated.
Yes, you have it there. You have the information. So it's for us, it's crucial to have the correct information. So whoever we work with, whether we work from the beginning, whoever we work with tested and tried teams. We want them to be reliable. So whether it's a surveyor that's going to give us the right information, whether it's consultant that's going to be the right for the project, we have built our teams. We've done it. I mean, Vita's been going for over 10 years now. So we've done our lessons learned along the way, and we know that the correct team is what makes the project go through.
Yeah.
Well,
so it requires a team to make the dream work.
Absolutely. We're just conductors. We're not experts. We're not experts in structures. We're not experts in how the pipes are going or how the electrics is working. We are the ones taking the information, saying, this is our vision. And then we have all the specialists coming back saying, this is what we think you can achieve. And then we go, oh yeah, we can shift it here or shift it there. We want it that way. So we are the conductors of the building.
So what would you say to an architect who is doing everything himself, or the one-man band?
As in structures and M&E, or
well, he goes out, measures the houses, he does the design, then he does the planning applications, he does the interior design, takes as much as he can on.
I mean, then as an architect, you are a consultant in essence. So the time you have is the time you have, and it's only so much you can do, and you can only be expert in small parts of it. So you can't be expert at everything, I think, and also if you want to do something that you're good at, you want to delegate the tasks that you're not so good at to somebody else so you can do your job better. So one-man band that does everything. Well, we do planning, we do design, we do everything as architects do, but we also know who to ask to make the project better, to be safer, and who to consult at different stages to make it stronger. But again, it's one-man band would probably restrict what you can do on the scale or complexity of the project. And a lot of respect to the people that do it. It's extremely hard. Without my business partner, it'd be extremely hard. Even in the office, we split tasks, who's doing what. Because it's not just the architecture. You have to do the bills, you have to do the insurances, you have to do so many more things that are not
accounting
even accounting.
And so on. And,
I know. So it's extremely hard
managing,
to be.
Whether it's tools or equipment and insurances and so on, and
Absolutely,
everything, and then it's just everything compiled together. But so now a question. So I'm an architect, and so I'm doing everything myself, and I'm scared because I would like to do more. I would like to grow, but I'm scared. What if other people are not as good as I am? What if I then need to pay to someone else and then I have less? And so I'm doing everything myself. What would you say to me if I would be this architect?
It's how far do you, well, what is your dream long term? If you want to just
create a big architectural company in London.
Well, then you have to trust people, and you have to take that step to give yourself ability to grow. Otherwise, you are just going to be doing the same thing, the madness over and over, without really progressing anywhere further. And yes, you will make mistakes as an architect. And we've, as I said, we learned through years who to work with, who not to work with, what makes us, perform better, or what we need to do to sort of purge sometimes readjust. But without taking that step where you trust other people to do certain things. I mean, again, as a consultant, you only have so many hours in a day.
Yeah. So now you touched the how many hours a day subject. And so actually this is the next question.
Uh-oh.
And the next question actually comes from something that you have said, and that's the architect's all-nighter badge of honor that you're rejecting.
Well, that's yes, I am rejecting it. I'm not doing it anymore. So
You were doing it before, now you're not doing it before.
that's the I don't understand the reason why for it, but in architecture, when you study, you're supposed to study so hard that you stay overnight over and over and sleep 4 hours a night for months until you're completely exhausted, and you just sort of pour your soul into the projects, which, well, yes, we've done that. At least my generation, I'm sure even younger architects now are doing it. And you go through this pain of sort of breaking your soul and rebuilding it as an architect, and from the rubble rise these star architects and build the new society. I think it's a little bit antiquated in a way, because in the end, it's not work harder, work smarter. In essence, if again, that's the second part. Once you're in the practice, you can work long hours doing, a bathroom vanity unit for about 3 days, and then you issue to the client and they're like, go, I don't like it. And what, you're going to carry on, do another one? And you just spin. It's more, let's do faster, let's get the direction, and let's make clarity by, you get direction and you get more clarity, and then another direction, and you keep sort of chipping away until you have something that's crafted through communication rather than through sheer willpower, sort of pushing it through. So I think as architect, you have to work as a team, and the team is helping you actually keep your sanity and keep your time to yourself.
Have you experienced burnout yourself in architecture?
I'd say I experienced burnout when I was in my 20s, when I was a student and working afterwards. And the burnout was more the disappointment in a sense, because
What was the disappointment?
the disappointment was, it was the wish to do really well. And I was always very good at things. So I'm a perfectionist. So as a young kid, I was good at school, best at one thing, best at another thing, and I took pride in doing better and better and better. And in architecture, once you go into university, it doesn't matter how much you put in, there's always, you can do better, and there's always someone that does better. So it was this sort of, you can't, as I said, you can't break it through with your head. You have to work smart. You have to start thinking as a holistic thing. But with my character, I was sort of trying to push it through. So I didn't see the holistic. I was sort of, let's try and power.
Power through and be that one-man band.
And
Like I said, the
just
architect who wants to grow, and I'm
do everything by
perfectionist, I'm going to do
myself.
it by myself,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
that leads to burnout.
That leads to burnout. And that led me to.
And so how did you overcome it? So it's a personality trait, and many people have it. And so that's that fear, like, how can I trust other people? They're not going to be as good. It's like, what if clients will not be happy about it? And, because someone else will not going to be doing as good as I am. And so I'm finding myself doing everything. So if I'm the architect, like, what would you say so I don't face the burnout?
You can't not trust people, as we were saying before. It's you have to give yourself time to do things that you're good at. And you have to look at the project holistically, at who's able to take away the pain at different stages. So whether they can do it better than you or not, that's, some might do it better, some might do it worse. But in the end, without actually trying and doing it, you will not know. And you have to try, and then the next step is, if they've done it well, fantastic, do it better next time even. Or if they haven't done it well, why is the reason they haven't done it well? So if we employ people, and the different generations, different architects, different cultures, it is about talking, teaching them, and seeing what they're good at. So you try and let them grow in the part that they are good at, and you sort of push the other parts along as well, so they grow in different aspects.
So touching on a team, you have mentioned as well in one of the articles I was reading about you, that you want to cap your team to 25. So you still have that personal touch. Now, is it still that's the case? And how big is your team at the moment?
I think 25 would be still a number. I don't really. Maybe I've grew out of putting a number to it. We're still a small team. We're 6 people team, 2 directors and associate, and 3 experienced part twos. We are taking our time to grow, because again, with international projects that are fast, it's a risk at growing the team fast. So
Yeah.
we want to sort of build the momentum a little bit more. With the UK having slowed down as it has now, we can't rely on UK to be the main income, and to allow us to grow the team safely. So we sort of, we have things going, but we are being very careful. So it's 25 would be a nice number, because again, as you said, we get to know everybody personally, but we also are able to step back, because the team should technically be strong enough to maintain that. And that's what we're looking at. So even in our team now, we are growing them to be self-reliant and independent, and being able to lead the projects without me or Ben being there.
Yeah.
And that's my wish, to be strong enough to.
Instead of being the person who is controlling everything, being the person who is empowering
Yes,
other
absolutely.
people, and then maybe inspiring and giving the direction. And so, well, when you are scaling up and growing, UK may not be the main source of like clients, and you can take broader clients in different countries. Now you have to have, let's say, the measure house survey, or you need to have different teams there to start. Okay, everything starts with measure house survey, because you need to know what's there.
What's there?
If you
yes.
don't know what's there, you just don't know what to build.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's the beginning. But now let's say it's in Japan. Like, how do you know who to trust? Because it's like first time you're doing a project in Japan. How to identify who to trust? Maybe it's an architect who is in Manchester and he wants to do a project in London. How does he know who to trust? How do you pick the right team in a new environment, in a new place?
Well, I mean, with yes, things might go wrong. You're absolutely right. But in the end, internet is powerful. So you do go for teams that have strong reviews, that are trusted in depends on where it is on the community. If they have strong recommendations, strong reviews, we usually reach out and go to the teams that are, well, highly reviewed in the
so
areas.
Power of the internet.
Yes, it is definitely
online presence.
Online presence, absolutely.
That's
Otherwise, how would we know?
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing. We're leaving more online footprint by doing this podcast, and so people get to know you. And so there's 3 elements. And so when people like you, they know you, and they trust you, that's when they work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that can be done by having one-to-one conversation, but that can also be done in a video format where we have a conversation, we add a value, and then people watch it and they say, you know what, I actually like Ruta because I like her values, I like how she's explaining herself, I see the personality, so I trust you. It's not just like terms and conditions that I'm reading about my business. My business is the best, I'm the best, and so on, you know, like
it's the spiel,
but there's a person, you know.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, I completely agree. And everyone I meet, whether it's potential client, I never sell Vita. I don't see the point in sort of forcing, I'm an architect, I'm a great architect, look at me, look at this building I've done, this is fantastic. Because There's many architects that are good. There's a lot of beautiful buildings, and the more you sort of go out there, you realize that you're just another person, and in the end, it's a personal connection. If you can, and if the client relates to you, if you can understand and relate to the client, you're likely to build something together that is going to be beautiful. And actually designed for the client. But if you don't have that rapport, and we say that to the clients, it's like, this is a trust thing. You have to trust the client, whoever you work with, whether it's us or it's somebody else. We don't mind that. You just need to trust them, make sure that they're going to look after you, and you can have this conversation. Actually, recently I just lost a project, and it wasn't any bad feelings from my side. They came back and they explained that the fees were very different, and they've done these things before that they're looking to do. And I was like, you know what, good luck. And absolutely, if you have any questions, come back to me. And in the meantime, I've done research on the financing, because we're able to help with financing. I've done research with other sort of aspects, and and a contractor, and they were asking whether you have a contractor. So I just did introductions to our contractor, said, I'm happy to recommend this person. And if you need the financing, come back to me later. I'll try and do the introduction so you can carry on. And am I getting anything for it? No. But this is the rapport. They know that if they need support in the future, they know they can come back, and then it's a long-term thing. It's not just, oh, you didn't come to me, therefore I'm not going to help you with anything else. It's not what we do. We look at it. It's a long-term thing.
Yeah, but not everyone has this approach, and so I completely agree on that. But then that comes from a place of security. That comes from a place of confidence. And so when we were discussing the example of me being that architect who does everything myself, that comes from a place of insecurity, place of a fear. And so if I'm led by fear and insecurity, and we all start this way, and I remember when I was starting my business and I would try to please everyone and make everyone happy, and I come to a point where I'm unhappy, and I know that I do a great job, and I ask myself a question: why am I unhappy of doing great job? Because I'm just working with the wrong people. And I just needed to understand that if it's not the right match, it's just not the right match. But because we were just small and starting, I needed every single client. I just needed the money.
I remember
and
that,
I just like, okay, so now you've been there, I've been there, and that's where everyone starts. So there is no like a judgment. It's just like how it's the natural step.
Yes.
It's the step first, step one, step two. What would you say to a new upcoming architect? How to get from the first step of being fearful, insecure, trying to chase every client, what they would need to do to get to the position of like, I know what I'm doing, I have the confidence, I can deliver, and I'll be fine even if the client doesn't choose to work with me.
I guess this is experience, because you get knocked back so many times along the way. You don't take it personally anymore. It just becomes part of the whole being an architect or being a consultant in general sense. It's like that there's more refusals than there are actual going ahead things. But
what's the refusal rate for you as an architect? So let's say you do 5 quotes, you get 1 project out, or what's the statistics?
Oh, I would have to. It depends on the type of inquiry. If it's warm or if it's cold, it's very different. I'd say
rough number.
I'd say 15-20% we get. The rest just dwindle off and disappear.
Yeah. So that would be, you send out 5 proposals, 1 goes
One
ahead.
comes through, yes, and depends. Again, we work a lot with preparing feasibilities, and these are very different scale projects. So this is working because we've partnered up with a private fund, and there is a lot of work we do where we look into the numbers. So we don't even do the architecture; we just look at the back of the napkin calculations. And at one point, I was doing probably 5 a week, which take me an hour each. and none of them gone through in the end. And we're still and there's still things that are still being crafted and pushed forward. But I know also it's the reward from things when they actually do come through. One of them has multiple sites in hundreds. That will be a repetitive job. The other ones is working with councils. So it's a repetitive work that we are willing to put effort and time in because it makes sense. So it's a very different approach than will I spend the whole week putting a fee proposal for a private client for an extension? No, it's probably going to take me about half an hour to do a little sketch and say, is this something that you are thinking about? And what else can we look into helping with? We also always look at what else can we do? Because yes, we are architects, but we also have ability of introducing different consultants along the way to help the client make a decision. So if the client is struggling about timing or cost or the security of cost, immediately we are partnered up and working with modular construction. So we know what the cost would be for a certain per square meter quite early on, instead of sort of designing and then going through what is going to be the cost. And
you talked about the napkin calculations.
Yes.
Okay, and so I give you a real life question. So I'm a landlord live in London. I want more space. I want to extend space at the rear of the house. Usually it's with a loft or rear, let's say 6 meters rear extension in London. What would be the number per square meter that we put on the napkin calculation average?
I would say £4,000 a square meter average traditional construction. If we are going down the modular, it would probably be about 2,500.
So modular is really
off-site
powerful.
construction, and it comes in and just puts it in on site. Yes.
And that's a question. Do you help your clients with modular projects?
Yes, we do.
Oh, very good. And so can you expand on that? What do you offer? Do you offer lofts, rear extensions, garden annexes? Like what's included in that?
We work with multi-units, so this is flatted projects that we are working on. But the module itself, it's very versatile. It can be, the width of it is as wide as it will get on a truck and down the road. So it's probably about 4.5 meters. Anything wider might be a bit of an issue. And the length is up to 18 meters. Again, if it's very windy roads, it might have to be
so it comes built already? And then
it comes built from Poland, from Krakow, and it's a module that's fully fitted out, and it's already been done in UK, so it's got all the insurances, it's got all the warranties, it's all got the signs of from building control, it's got the signs of from banks giving you loans to actually, if you want to remortgage, if you want to sell it, it's all signed off module. And it comes on the back of the truck. It's got floors, it's got ceilings, it's got everything. It puts on the site, and then it plugs in, and 45 minutes later you can turn on the kettle and have a cup of tea.
Ready. Okay, that sounds very interesting. But what's the downside here? What's the hook? Okay, why would
it's not a traditional construction. So in UK there's a perception of the module or prefabricated sort of panels being more of a shed construction, which is not the case anymore. But it's the perception of it more than anything.
Longevity, warranties, what were we talking
Same
about?
warranties as traditional. Yes, it's not a brick building. Victorian are still standing. It's a metal frame with panels. Unless somebody is planning to live 200 years, it's probably not going to be. It will
last a lifetime.
It should last it should last a lifetime. Yes, it's steel frame, same as what we build now. Steel frames with paneling and a rain screen on the outside.
Really nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. I never thought about that. Look, my experience is not as yours. We are at the very beginning. We don't see projects being completed. We just go in there, and then you do the magic, and you see how things come to life. And so you're the right person for the advice. And so you also mentioned about financing.
Yes.
And we touched the cost. So my question is, do you help your clients with acquiring finance? If it's a developer, they want to build a multi-unit, maybe development, and what's your part there?
We are able to help out with financing. We will review the feasibility. We'll check whether things are adding up. And if it is, I'm very happy to introduce directly to financial institution rather than a broker. And obviously, they trust me. And if they see the numbers are working, they will be, with their due diligence, they are able to do the financial support of the construction development. Yes.
Sure. Okay. I appreciate that. And then now here I have a few more questions. Okay. Would you focus more on skill now that you are with the experience, many years experience and all the education as an architect? Would you focus more on a skill, relationships, or personal growth?
It's changed because initially you need the skill to be able to do what you do, and then you need the connections to be able to do what you want to do. So personal growth with architecture, I guess, because things are changing, you learn other new things. That's part of the whole personal growth path. So I think it's the sort of thing that bounces from one thing to another.
If you would need to pick one.
At the moment, probably connections then, because where I am in my stage of life is stronger connections, bigger connections to be able to move forward with what I want to do more. But I would say anybody starting off in architectural industry, if you're very young, don't forget the personal connections along the way. So do build networks, do meet other consultants, do meet other people involved in the construction industry, because that will
And
help.
so where, for anyone, would you say here in London where they can get connected, where they can meet other professionals, or is there a place or a networking event, or where?
Oh, I get invited everywhere. So I started off in going to Eventbrite and seeing what are the construction networking events happening in London, and just showing up and saying, hi, hello, I'm Ruta, how are you? And from there on, you start meeting somebody else, and then they start inviting you to different events that are a little bit more interesting. And they might take part in Malta this Sunday, for example.
For example, yeah.
And I only find out about it yesterday. So it can be.
Comes an email, Rota, you're going to Malta.
Yes. Yeah. And I go.
I think you need to be available, you need to be proactive, and you need to, people need to know that you are the person who's willing to do it.
Yes.
And probably sitting in home or working in home office, like many people work from home, people are not going to know about you, and you just need to go out there, just talk about yourself, and meet people and say, hi, my name is Peter, hi, my name is Ruta, hi, my name is John, and just going out there and just connecting. And we ourselves, we've been part of London Build, which is one of the biggest expos, I think 6 or 7 years, no counting actually the COVID, because that would probably then be more.
Yeah.
And I would say the number one biggest event for us is this London Build Expo, because we make so much connections over the 2 days. It's 2 days, and we talk with so many people that I'm tired of talking.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of talking, because you just keep repeating yourself over and over and over again. So new person, again, the same question.
I know. Yes.
It is tiring, but it's necessary.
It's work. It is part of it. So that's what I mean. It's like in the beginning you go everywhere, so you meet a lot of different people. Then you find things that work for you. So yes, exhibitions and different events like London Build, I would say the grand designs, they're very useful, because you both meet different sort of strands of construction, and then you can pick and choose what you want to, go forward to. And from there it becomes a bit more interesting, and then a little bit more interesting. So it is a lot psychology. I mean, I don't really design things. I just talk to people. But that talking, I still need to come across as someone that they will trust me to do the job, or recommend me for somebody else that needs a job. So it's
Psychology gets into that personal growth.
So it's just, you have to be you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sell somebody else. You have to be, if they trust you, they will trust you.
Yeah.
And you have to have strong enough team to back you up.
So here is, I was wondering, what's the difference between fear and faith? And so simply, fear is wondering what if, and faith is even if.
Yeah.
And so that's that confidence comes. Even if nothing happens, I'm gonna go there. Even if this relationship doesn't work out, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even if that client doesn't pick my quote, it's fine. And just having that faith and knowing it will be all right, and just trusting yourself, then in those conversations you come up as completely different person, not as needy, as desperate, like buy from me, work with me, it's like kind of demanding or pushing.
Absolutely.
And that is doing actually the opposite. It just push the people away.
Well, it's the way I approach it. I know that I will not get the project from the person I meet once.
Yeah.
And it's not about getting a project. It's, can I actually even work with that person? Do we align? Can they, will they respond to me, or am I gonna have, like, it's like flogging a dead horse? there's no need to push something that is not gonna happen. So it is building a relationship, and it's, the network doesn't become a network because, oh, we're so professional and DSR, this is,
yeah, because you have a certificate.
It's so I'm an architect, you need me. There's many architects, and you're not special, you're just another person, but they need, like, you become friends, you become more, you can recommend somebody else. So you become part of a network that you can help them, not just with architecture, with other things, and then things turn.
Do you have any memberships? And I was speaking to one of our clients, and he basically has found some clients through memberships in being part of a club. So that's the Soho House, and as well just talking to people, working there, connecting. Do you have any memberships in any places or clubs or anything?
I don't, but I get invited to all of them without memberships.
So, yeah, because you can always bring people on.
I know someone there, then.
So you have good connections.
I have good connections, and I'm still deciding which membership I would consider going for, because it'd be good to have a membership just because it's a base in the city for different reasons. But I've been attending events at Institute of Directors. I've been sort of private membership clubs that you will go and have events at. A lot of the events I go to are embassy events, invited by different embassies. So it depends on who you're looking to meet and what you're looking to build. I'm not chasing that sort of. I'm very bad at sort of being Instagram, or sort of, that sort of, I'm not an influencer. I'm more a personal connection. So for me, it's easy to talk, but I would struggle if I had to do something myself that would be Instagram or Facebook.
So I'm now challenging you, getting out of your comfort zone. I'm saying, come to the podcast. We're gonna get the spotlight on you. We're gonna shine the light.
I'm good at talking to people and meeting people. I am not the one to promote myself.
Well, we are having a conversation.
Yes.
And that's all it takes.
Exactly.
And so what's marketing? Marketing is simply having conversations.
Yeah.
And so when you talk to a potential client, maybe it's online or through a newsletter or maybe through radio, whatever is the channel you choose, you have a conversation. And so then people decide whether they like you, they start to know you, and whether they trust you.
Exactly.
And so whatever it is, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's in front of a camera, everyone finds their own way. But the most important thing is just to have more conversations.
Yeah.
The more conversations you have, the more people know about you, and that's where comes in these clubs and memberships and networking events and expo. If a person shows up there and does not communicate, then no one knows
who
and
you
so
are. They don't even know what
so
you
that's
do.
a skill to
Yeah.
master, to also be good architect.
Yeah.
Not only the drawings and technical skills, but people skills.
Yeah. And
Every
also looking after the contacts that you have already. So don't forget the ones that you
Do you regularly go through your contact list and reach out to them or phone them up, or
I wouldn't say it's like in my diary, but
like a follow-ups, you know?
But there's sometimes I just remember someone and say, "Hi, how are you?" So it's I had a few days ago after Christmas, after New Year, I had one of the engineering company directors calling me and is like, "Ruta, are you angry with me?" I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?" He said, "You haven't responded to 2 of my emails." I was like, "Oh gosh." And the reason is I don't respond because I want to respond properly, take my time, and with all the rush, I forget, and then I don't want to just say hi. So at the end, I was like, "Listen, please forgive me. Let's meet up. I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's just have a drink together, have a chat, catch up." So but they're more like friends. They're not even consultants. They are people that you just reach out and, you can go for a drink or you can say, "Listen, I need you to help me with this project," and they'll do what they can.
So now, when we talk about quality, we talk about all these different aspects in architecture. But one thing I would like to ask, there is always that competition on a price, And so my question is, do you compete on price? Do you negotiate on price?
I think everyone does to a degree. Depends on the project. For me, because my contacts are not cold contacts, they're usually people that approach me because they know me already, or I built the relationship. The negotiation is very different. It's there is always a negotiation, but it's less of a negotiation because I give them a fair price of what I can do it for, and they know that I'm giving it for a price that I can do it for, rather than inflate and then go down. But I don't tend to, if it's a very strong negotiation on price, I don't tend to take those projects because I know that there's something that's not going to be going right.
It's a red flag.
It's a very, very red flag.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. And so when talking about the price, from our perspective, we got some architects who say, well, there's this guy who can do a measure house survey for £350 in London. Okay. And so my question is, how do you know if the measure house survey will going to be good or bad?
Oh, without having tried it, you wouldn't. But if I work with someone that do a good job, I don't tend to try for someone that might not do a good job. There's a trust, and I trust the consultants I go to. I don't tend to get 10 quotes and go for the cheapest. I tend to go for the one that I know that they will do a good job for the project. And that is for any consultant. I don't like to do let's propose 3 options and they can choose which one they want to go for, because they're not necessarily informed clients. I'm informed with my team. So it's my responsibility to get the right team on board, including surveyors. And I will just go for the one that I select.
I find that quite often from many architects that we work with is that they get few proposals, and so they reach out to us and then they reach out to others. And for me, it's like, it's fine. But what you said is the client doesn't really understand. So even if I say elevations and floor plans and sections and topographies or block plans, and there's like, oh, it's like, I don't understand. Here's cheaper one, let's go with that. And so we're not the most expensive, we're not the cheapest, but I just know what how much the work cost. Okay. The next one is, why Vita Architects decided to work with Space Survey in general?
Well, we needed someone that would do Revit, firstly, modeling with point clouds. And it was a very clear structure that came from you, because at the time we were looking for different surveyors. We used to work with someone that would just do 2D CAD. And as we were working more and more in Revit, we realized we need that saving time. on the modeling, and we reached out to you, and you put a very clear structure that was tick, 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 and LOD 2, 3, 4. And I was like, this is fantastic. I don't need to think. I just go, this is what I want. This is very simple. We got the model from you. It was clear. It was on time. It was exactly what we wanted. And I was like, I mean, this is the person I'm happy to trust to carry on. If I need help, I'll come back. So it was very easy process. Usually that's how it is with all the consultants. If they do a bad job, I'll never come back. They might not even find out, unfortunately, but I just won't come back. But if they do a good job, I will just keep
make
it
it clear.
Yeah, make it clear.
Yeah,
exactly.
Make it clear. Yeah, and that can be an advice to anyone watching. How to win clients. Just try not to make it complicated. I know everyone can, and you have a lot of knowledge and skills and specific wordings that you can use. But if the landlord doesn't understand it, he's just getting confused, and confused clients don't buy. Okay? And so if you would explain to a non-architect, just a landlord, like, what is an architect? Who is architect? What do they do? Why do I need an architect? Like, what do they do?
It depends on well, we create spaces that would be right for the use and for the length of use and adaptability. That's me talking in architectural gibberish. In reality, we put together the project that can be built. It can be built for a certain cost, timely manner, depending if planning is on time. That is. There's different aspects of what an architect can do, because we work, for example, with, I need to talk about examples of projects because the projects are so different. If it's a residential for the client, let's say a client wants to build a house and they have a site. So we interrogate the site, what can be built on the site initially. We will probably consult with planning consultants and say, these are the restrictions, but potentially you can go for something X size, increase this and that, and this is the maximum, or this is where you can get to. The next steps, we will look into what you actually need. So if we design the building, it's not necessarily the biggest we can get. It's more, what do you actually need for the family, for your use, for your needs, to get the right structure, the right building. Then we achieve the planning. We go into planning, submission for the planning. We prepare technical drawings, the coordination with specialists after planning is approved to actually make it buildable. And if it's buildable, whether we want it to be buildable, as I said, the solution with modular, so to keep time, to keep the cost more accurate, or if we want something a bit more special and it needs to be built in a traditional way, we'll do all the detailing for the traditional. We help with tendering, so we have a number of contractors we work with. So tendering, financing, construction overlooking contract administration. So we're the buffer between the client and the contractor, making solutions on site if there's anything going one way or another, or interrogating the build. So this is in a very fast pace. What would an architect do in a traditional manner for a client that is building a house?
I'm gonna just turn on my internet and go on our website. So it's like a workflow, and I just wanted to ask which of the parts is an architectural part, because usually there is a confusion. What is actually architect doing? And so I did a clear roadmap on our website, and I just want to bring this roadmap up as a step-by-step guide. Okay, so here it is. The question would be this. Okay, I have a roadmap for a construction project. What part of it is architectural work and what part of it is someone else's work?
Okay.
So the week number 1, measure house survey. Okay, surveyors is doing. Okay, week 2 to 3, existing drawings.
Surveyors, it would still be the drawing, existing surveyors.
Yes, surveyors. Yeah, okay. Now, week 4 to 6, proposed design.
That'd be us.
Architects, okay.
And a little bit of planners, probably.
That's week 7 to 16, planning support.
planning consultants, engineers, biodiversity net gains, all of that, surveys. There's more surveyors, there's more architects. Depending on the complexity of the project, it might just be an architect.
Okay.
Might just be us.
Maybe just an architect. Planning support can be architect, can be different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, week 17, drainage surveys.
Surveyors. CCTV.
Okay. Week 17 to 18, structural engineer.
Yeah.
Architects.
Architects with the engineers working. So once it's technical design, we will be working together with engineers, and so we will do our bit, so our design, and the structures will be doing their design, and we'll be reaching out.
And is it a case where architect does the structural design, or it's a different person, different company?
Structural engineers will do the structural design, but the architects will go back to the engineers, and depending on how it fits into the design, we might say we want it higher, lower the beam, depending if we want to hide it, or if we want to shift it. We might want to shift it due to the layout of the building. So we integrate the structure into the design.
Yes.
And we work together.
Okay. So building regulations, week 17 to 20.
That would be running parallel with technical. So building regulations would be from stage 1, but that would be an architect doing the building regulations. Building control would be technical design, so together with the structures at the same time.
Okay. Week 17 to 80 is party wall notice.
Yes. Yeah.
Architects.
Surveyors.
Surveyors. Okay. Building control approval.
Building control with architects.
That's week 21. Okay. And then week 19 to 24, finding a builder.
That could be architects with contractors.
Yeah. So you see, there's quite a mixture of everything. And so that's the roadmap for anyone who is thinking what's involved in that. So when they say architect, they don't understand that there is surveyors, there is planning support, there is drainage surveys, there's structural engineers, there's party wall agreements, then there's building regulations, building control, and then there's a builder. And so in this roadmap, I don't have.
Fire
but then
engineers.
The last thing would be project management. Is it architect or
contractor?
Contractor.
Well, okay. It can be an architect if it's a small project, and if the architect is brave enough to undertake it. We usually work with the contractors, but during the construction, we do the contract administration, which is the costing, and it's verifying the cost, the changes, and it's looking into the issues that arise on site and resolving them together with the contractor.
Yeah. So now that is basically the full breakdown of like what's involved. There may be some bits and pieces that I missed out, but just a general guideline of a person not knowing anything, because we don't expect a person who works maybe in office, in finance, to know about architectural work. And that's why I wanted you to explain that in more detail, so anyone watching can understand what's involved in building a house, what architect can actually do, and just thinking for someone who might think, oh, maybe I can do everything myself. It's like, architects work in teams. There is a power in working in teams and collaborating because you get things done better, a better quality, and faster. Yes, cost is involved because no one works for free, that's true, but also you save time and headache and potential losses on doing things wrong or inaccurately. And so just think about how much that costs your emotional space of not actually doing what you're good at, by trying to learn through YouTubes and reading the blogs and chat GPTs and learning to do something that you're not good at. And so that's why I also believe there is power in working in teams, and as we are architects, not the architects, we are Magic House Surveys, but I don't do everything. So we have a person who is a specialist on actually measuring and registering and working with point clouds, and that's one person.
Yeah.
But then we have a different person who is dealing with modeling and doing the drawings. and that's a different person. So it's a different skill sets. And all that comes down together, and then the client doesn't really necessarily need to know all of the nuances, because that's just what we manage. The process is the same like you, but the person goes to an architect. I need an extension. Architect then manages the whole process, and then the client at the end of the day receives the final built
that they can build.
The final built drawings and approval, and then the builders is building it.
And it's safe.
And it's safe.
And I always say it's better to make mistakes on paper than on site when you're digging a hole.
That's where you save money. Because
absolutely.
you can always place things in the wrong way, and maybe you put a socket here, but then you put the sofa, and actually you need to change the socket somewhere else. So even that's a small thing, rather than moving steel beams when you have already built it. But even that costs money. So or moving boilers and pipes and
it's
not
much
thinking
easier
about
on
it.
paper. Just go good.
Exactly. And so the last words to anyone watching, maybe where to find you, how to reach out to you.
We are Vita Architecture. We are London-based architects. Our office is in Croydon, but if anyone's interested, do give our office a call. So it's Vita Architecture. And if you ask for Ruta, we can arrange a meeting in person or on call, and we can take it from there if you need any support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you for coming.
Cheers.
And so you're going to come.